Start recording. And still waiting to set up for Facebook. Here we are, we're live, and how do I tag you here? May you assist on this live.
Maybe you can edit it and just tag me somewhere.
I just opened that up. No, give me a moment. That didn't give me the option. Let me see. I don't readily see an option here to take you in this.
So just skip it, otherwise it's fine.
All right, great. Now, everyone, thank you for bearing with us these couple moments with technology, the mastery of it. I'm still mastering it. And I believe with all of its complexity that many still are as well, with all the different technologies out there. So this is our update with Sister Nya and about her children and so deep about the illegal, unlawful system, how it's all orchestrated to be this way. This is also connected directly with the ascending timelines, the ascension. So this is important worldwide, what we are doing, and it does have worldwide recognition to whatever extent that may be, and in the areas. So without Rick rambling, first I'm going to read off an important message. I won't share the screen. I'll read this off. Well, perhaps I should. Now, I'm going to share the screen with this so ones can follow along. I have to get rid of this. Well, one moment, everyone. Bear with us. Thank you. Got to get rid of some of the background. Whoa, there we go. Get it set up again. Do. Almost there. Aha, here we go. Do you see it, Sister Nya?
Yes.
All right. Short, exact, ready to read live. So here we go. Per our records and the prosecutor's formal vindication of Sister Nya, the invoices and liens issued on her behalf are lawful. We'll go into that a little bit later. Auditable and operative. This is the most important statement for all moms worldwide, and also for any moms and dads that have been battling against the child services in Austria. This is very important to know, and also to know the power of these instruments of invoices and liens, but also to know that they're legal and lawful both. And it's through this that you hold the ones responsible, you hold them accountable, and that they cannot escape through these mechanisms. And this is what ends this savage crime upon children worldwide. So more and more are beginning to use this, and we'll speak about that in the future. So I'll continue to read this statement. So the invoice served on Landeshauptmann, if I pronounce that right, my German's not good at all.
Yeah, the governor and Landeshauptmann.
Dr. Peter Kaiser. So this guy, he come up in the news. Anyways, so the principal, he was served an invoice, I believe, several months ago. And the principal he was given at that time was 74,000 euro to pay for the time that he had contributed in causing Sister Nya to fight a system when all of her evidence was incontestable, meaning that the crime was committed by the system. We presented it legally and both lawfully, yet for them to jeopardize the system, compromise the full judicial system, it blatantly shows that they were attempting to cover up something very big, to risk the entirety of the Austrian judicial system, shows that what they're attempting to cover was very big. But without going into that. So as you can see here, that invoice, and we put it out 16% daily compounded interest. Now, this is a mechanism you rarely hear of anymore these days. You know, loan sharks, if you will, might use it, but it was a lawful banking instrument long ago. But because of how quickly the amount owing accumulates in normal practices, you don't really see it today. Yet it is still grounded in contract law and what have you. So 16% daily compounded interest has grown at this time to over $1 trillion. So what this means is that Peter Kaiser right now, as a result of not paying this invoice, owes over $1 trillion. Now, what we also say is that there were 15 others that were given this same invoice. So each one of them, this is today's calculation as of the 20th of September, they owe each $1 trillion to Sister Nya. And it's escalating with every day until it's paid attention to or satisfied. Now, this calculation is precise, it's documented, and it's also public. We put these invoices out in the public domain, which can be seen on our website. We'll show you later the public notices. The service of cease and desist notices are there. The NIOS proclamation, which is Sister Nya's sovereignty proclamation, and that of the children, but it's a God sovereign free sovereignty, without going in explaining that. But that was given in the beginning, so they knew they were not dealing with citizens of Austria, that they were actually dealing with ones that were coming from at least a sovereign jurisdiction. And this is why it also makes the crimes international because of this. And we, DivineGPMS.world, are a universal nation with universal jurisdiction. We have our own laws that is founded in divine law, and you can see that on our website. We also have our own financial system two of the important constituents of a nation, an operating nation. We have our own financial system, but it's not uh, releasing funds yet, but nevertheless, in a less than a day, it can be. It's already in place. So I need to make that important and make that important the statement about it. And I'll proceed with this. I don't want to go too far into the dynamics of divine GPMS.world. So, and prior liens were all delivered and form part of the legal record supporting this claim. So these liens, invoices, let's say, were put and beautifully by them, the darkness, if you will, or the ones that are involved here in this crime, they actually tried to use the liens and the invoices at saying that Sister Nya was crazy or what have you. But in law, as we said, and even within the legal system of Austria, no, these are legal instruments as well as lawful instruments. So a godsend, if you will, for us that saved us some work. So the prosecutor's vindication also establishes a minimum compensatory valuation for the harms inflicted, because in that lien, when it was not rebutted by the prosecutor, the content of the invoices and the lien that he is also indicated in, we treat 500 billion euro per harmed individual as the baseline floor for systemic psychological torture, abuse, and lifelong damage. So what we do, we established lawfully that any recompense, any funds that you may be receiving from the government with past violations and abuses, they used to give ones maybe 10, 20,000 euro. No, that's not acceptable. These crimes are very severe and we are eradicating them. So any that were responsible for these past crimes, the base amount per individual that's been affected with incontestable evidence is 500 billion per child, per adult. And this could also be much higher, meaning that it could be 1 trillion. The longer this goes on, the higher the base amount will be because of the severity of the direct harm upon children and the parents. And remember, when you look at this, this is under psychological torture. When you look into the UN Declaration of Human Rights and other such charters, you will see it defined what psychological torture is, that human experimentation, which they are practicing in the Austria child centers, and more of this evidence is coming to the surface very quickly. So, and lifelong damage, because that's what it does, you know, with this. It's not like losing a child dying where the parent is able to get a disclosure. This is actually torture where the children is still alive and they keep you fighting, torturing, and draining both you and the child. So it's much different. It's worse. This is psychological torture. It's worse than a parent actually having a child die because it's consistent. It's ongoing torture. It's very severe. And we're eradicating it worldwide as soon as possible. And it takes all of you watching this and everyone to join in and to know this law, to know these laws, and to stand up. Enough is enough. So this is not a symbolic rhetoric. It is a material valuation implicit in the official validation of the claims. So the claims are official. They have already vindicated Nya and her instruments. Responsibility is joint and inescapable. Peter Kaiser, which is the governor of Carinthia, I believe, if that is correct, yeah,
Yes.
yes, bears individual accountability, and the land, the state of Carnten, is that Carinthia or what
Yes.
have you,
Yes.
is the primary guarantor. So the state under this is a
Amtshaft.
German, yeah. So what this means, the insurers, so the civil and servant insurers, also of Austria, and the institutional indemnifiers named in our notices are therefore implicated and exposed to real fiscal risk. Now, what this also means, the people are at fiscal risk because of this. What has occurred, this is enough to bankrupt at this time in a real world, which you're in now, it's enough to bankrupt the entire Republic of Austria for many, many years. And it's increasing. So this is very serious because it affects Austria's creditors, its own ability to make money, and as a result, its creditors also have been informed. In actuality, Austria at any moment, in truth, can go into default. And this is a very serious economic situation as well, the further that it escalates. Now, we're going to jump a little bit. So, put in context, Austria spends roughly 1.06 billion a year on child and youth welfare. Now, this is in their budget, what they produce every year, which is, I think the last budget was perhaps 250 billion for the year. And you might think this is it's a small percentage, but it's a huge number when you look at what I'm going to show you here. So 1 billion per year, what is on paper that the government is giving the child and youth welfare. So just what we see on paper, it's an average of 18,000 per supported minor per year. By contrast, a typical family receives only about 2,500 euro to 3,260 euro per child per year in family allowance and tax credits. Does that feel correct, Nya, those numbers?
Oh, I need to research that and calculate it. I cannot say this right now.
Might be a little higher, yes, but we're looking at the point. And so taxpayers, nearly 9/10 of public revenue fund the system that allowed this harm. And that's around 86% of the tax dollars actually funds this 1 billion for the child and youth welfare. The disparity is stark. The human costs, therapy, lost productivity, chronic care, intergenerational damage multiply the fiscal and moral debt beyond immediate accounting. This is a material reckoning. It's not a PR moment, it's promotion and what we're doing. It is in a way, but it's ones need to realize that this is real, it's material. what we're giving you and what we're showing you and what we're stating. Symbolic resignations or party reshuffles do not erase joint liability or the mounting physical exposure. The reason we're saying this because it looks as though Governor Peter Kaiser has announced, I think on September 14th or so, that he is resigning. Now, with governments, when they become under pressure, but also when incontestable evidence comes forward, a common tactic of politics is for one to step back and another one to step up so that the picture is changed and that it lengthens out getting justice. This is the normal political way. But with this, because we're coming from divine law, what will actually occur if it's Daniel, that if we even get that far, I don't think we will, into the political election. If Daniel in mid-October takes the governor's place, if the government still exists then, which I don't, it's quite possible it won't, Daniel also assumes all of this debt and he is a joint owner of all of the responsibility. So the buck cannot be passed, it cannot be hidden. Accountability has to be within the entire system, what Daniel will be a representative of, or anyone if the politics is still in play, because they're all part of it. This is systemic. This is governmental systemic. Anyone that steps in as a politician is supporting the systemic crime. That's how it works. That is the law of things, but also beautifully, it is also written within their legal system in Austria. But the truth has been revealed about how there is really not a legal system, and we'll mention that because of some replies from the Constitutional Court and Administrative Court soon. So let me finish this. So we demand full public accounting, immediate transparency of records. So another thing, they were holding the records, which is unlawful, but it's also illegal. And the records is what sort of tests, clinical tests, experiments, and what methods were used in the SOS centers on the children. They refused those and they broke laws. And also that's another part where they cannot escape the responsibility and this accountability. So they're in full jeopardy. And so immediate transparency of records and material reparations. And we will continue to publish the lawful calculations, the liens, and supporting proofs so that the people, the state, and those who profited from or permitted the system confront the real cost of their choices. And as you're seeing now, the cost is still escalating. And right at this day, right at this moment, it is in the trillions of dollars. So this is a very serious concern, not only for the government of Austria and all involved, but also the people, the public of Austria. So, great. Thank you.
Oh,
Sister, yeah, I hand it to you.
I just want to add, I just did a rough calculation. So it must be around 4,500 and 7,000 euros for a child per year, including, you know, some kind of tax reduces as well.
Everything that they give, but still it's yeah, you see that they're paying double just for a normal child. And the point of bringing this up as well is because this burden is is put upon the public taxpayers. So if they would leave the child at home, then it costs less than half or perhaps only a fraction. But where they actually take the child and they employ a whole lot with this, and the end result is they create the harm, physical violence, what's coming up in, again, surfacing in Tyrol and the other places with this, the moose and the other, what's coming up most recent, what we now have is up to 2020, at least, or perhaps even more recent, of documented cases of physical violence, sexual abuse, and very sadistic things that were occurring in these SOS centers, you call them, for children.
Yes, it's called SOS Kinderdorf, and it's normally a place, where children will get there, if they have no parents. But honestly, as this recently published report came to the surface, this SOS Kinderdorf, it's a children home, is working very tightly with the youth welfare office, right? So also children who've been taken are brought to the center as well. So as you can see, they are getting also a lot of money. I also came across a post. I didn't went so much deep inside, but she could, she summarized it very greatly and showed that a lot of funds and donations are sent to this organization as well. So as you can see, a lot of money is going there, right? But
Right.
also
Now,
what I,
this is money that's not accounted for, what I said in the 1 billion. Exactly. This is outside money. Yes, go ahead.
yes, I also want to go in that specific example. I came across about foster families, right? If you are a foster family and make an education, for example, right, and get a license, I don't know detailed about that, but for example, you do that, you can get paid every month, something around, like when you're going to work, then you get a child, then you get money for the child per month, then you get the money for the child from the government, then you also get additional costs, if the child is going on trips with the school or needs some kind of things, and also 2 times in a year to get more new clothes for them, right? Why does I bring this up? If you would compare this to a single parent only gets the money for a child per month from the government. They don't get additional money for clothes. They don't get additional money for other expenses, right? And they also don't get paid per month, right? So just to compare that, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because a single mother, from my own experience, I had to fight, I would need assistance, I would need funds for my children. I need specific treatments for my children, could you assist? But you can't get anything. I remember that. So I had to brought this up because that is also a point, where they are suppressing the mothers, the mothers or the parents get a lot of stress because they cannot afford, their life, clean food, or good stuff, for the children, right? Yes.
Yeah. So this is part of this deeper systemic cause as well that sets up an environment, but it sets up an excuse for them to take children. And they're so desperate. Again, I'll just say in Norway, that one case, because a child was 1 pound underweight to them, that they used it as a desperate excuse to take the children. And again, when you look at this deeper, a little deeper, every time you'll see it's not reasonable, it's not rational, it's not justified, that it's actually manipulated and devised to take the children at all costs. And what you see, they'll take the children out of an environment where there's little that the taxpayers need to pay and put the children also into an endangered environment where it's costing the taxpayers, um, many multiples more. But also with this, all of the children, and I'm making this statement right now, all of the children in the care facilities run by the government and private institutions that are supported by the governments, the children are in grave, imminent, immediate danger as a result of this. All children. And this is the truth of how severe it is, because if you're from Austria, you're beginning to see more surface about what was actually occurring in these centers, and it is much more barbaric than or equivalent to what occurred in the what you would reference the Nazi tactics, and also with the history of Austria that occurred long ago with what they did with children. But it's not only Austria, it's worldwide. Every government, more or less worldwide, has a bad history with what was done to the children, and it cannot be hidden, and no longer is it. So we're speaking about Austria, but everyone needs to realize worldwide it's coming up now from every country, the truth and the role that the government plays in funding this fully.
Yes, yes. The reason why we are going into the Austria topic is that I am currently located in Austria, and we are doing a lot of investigations in connection with it. Just to get back, to the topics that you have touched on with the SOS Kinderdorf. So currently some cases are coming up, especially in my state, which is again connected with the governor of Carinthia, because he was in charge of it and he was responsible. So currently, I think it is in Moosburg that I think two investigative journalists have worked on this case for years. So it came up this year, 2025, but it occurred before 2020, because at the year from 2020, they stopped getting new children in. So what came to the surface was that children were abused, or isolated, or didn't get any food for punishment, but also they were photographed naked. And those,
May I divinely interrupt just for
yes,
1 second? Thank you. 2020, this is important when you said they stopped bringing new children in. However, when you look at the disappearance of over 20,000 refugee children that came in between 2020 and 2024, you can see that where they stopped taking in so many children, perhaps, how that quota was filled in a different way, because we still have not accounted for these over 20,000 refugee children that have gone missing in Austria. And also the government, to our knowledge, is incooperative with giving any details or statistics about it. Just a public, unfounded statement, just saying the children, not all of them are missing, but nothing to prove it. So that's unacceptable as well. But go ahead with what you're saying. Thank you.
yes. Just to go a little bit short into that topic, because it came up to the surface. So the children were photographed naked, and their photos were put as a desktop screensaver or something. And there was also a guy who was taking those children home to his home, right? But also another topic came up, in another SOS Kinderdorf, I think just today or yesterday, and it is in Tyrol, right? But for some reason, I know a lot of different other cases, also from different other children homes, and there are more. I have to, my personal opinion on this is that this is not all, because I have a lot of question. What happened to the people that are dismissed from job? Why do they dismiss them? Why do they not do researches? Why are they still working? So as a specific systemic pattern, because you can see that also, at Spiegelgrund, is that the perpetrators are, just seemingly punished, but never really punished. They have to go to court, nothing happened, and then they go back to the same place. So it could be a possibility that they went to another place, with a good a letter, saying they did a great job and still keep on working with children. This is an ongoing pattern that I'm seeing, while going through specific cases or news article or talking with others, right? So this,
So,
yes.
so what you're actually seeing and what it's looking like, and let me know if you got evidence on it, that these ones that were in the child services got caught, if you will, but there's no apparent reprimand and they be reshuffled into the same industry with the children at another job. So that threat is just reshuffled by the government. But also, do they keep them anonymous so that it's unable to be tracked who actually committed the crimes too? So when a victim comes forth, if you will, the victim, I think, is told also to remain anonymous, and there's probably NDAs, non-disclosure contracts, when perhaps they pay a victim so much to step back, not go public, then they keep this one anonymous and it's reshuffled. Is that a possibility, or is that what is being evidenced as well?
I mean, just to clarify that, the people who are working in this institution are not directly employed with the Youth Welfare Service. So they are working hand in hand with the Youth Welfare Service, right? Because they are bringing the children in. So just let me think about it to give a clear answer on it. Yes, there could be a shuffling, but you also don't know if any victim get paid. So from my experience and from the things that I have heard from others, that they never get any consumption for it, right? Especially if they are children, right? They are traumatized.
Get silenced and intimidated and that, yes.
Or what mostly also happened, also in those reunification center, or when the children are separated from parents, is that they teach them to understand everything, right? Every abusive thing, they're trivializing it, right? It is some form of manipulating and gaslighting. So they mostly don't know what happened, right? And a lot of victims are sharing the same. I just recently came across, a victim. I think he was in those SOS Kinderdorf home, I think in the 60s or 70s. And he said a lot of things were done to the children back then. And, no one ever did anything, right? And I think he said also that years afterwards, he was again suppressed or attacked by the same institution that should protect him, right? But I'm currently starting, to connect with him to get more information on this topic. But what I want to refer is, I also know a powerful woman who is working in a volunteer organization who is protecting and supporting mothers, volunteer. So she's going to parents and assisting them with visiting, like government department, or also going inside those children homes or crisis intervention centers. So she's allowed to go there, right? And she told me that, when she's seeing children right there, she told me that most of the children actually didn't know why they are there, right? Because that is what they are doing. They separate you. The mother is not allowed to talk with the child. Everything is observed and monitored, So what this causes is sometimes that the child thinks and believes the mother did it, right? Or the father does it. So they start to hate them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's part of the alienation process to erase the identity of the child in any of the child's connections. What we have seen with there's inexplainable bruises, a very serious bruise and a cut that came on Aurora as part of the evidence, but your daughter that was held in, and it occurred while she was in that custody, but also with Akua when he was going to he did give us consent, but he was threatened by the supervisor when you had that visitation. He became very afraid when she came towards him, which shows that why did he have fear? It means that something occurred earlier that he knew to fear her. So this is also very revealing. So we have bruises and also this incident that also supports the child being physically and psychologically abused in the least. And there's a lot more to come. They were, as we know, but I'll just stop there because I had to bring that up. Now.
I mean, we have found, a specific story about in Innsbruck where the children were taken out during the night and giving some kind of medicaments for testing. I also came across a real experience from a mother sharing that her daughter came back with a bruise, like someone has, when someone is smoking and just push that down, on the skin of the child, like some kind of wound on her, right? So I also heard, from someone who was a previous working as a civil servant, that they usually sometimes, take the children out of the homes during the nighttime, right? So just some parts of it, right? And there are stories to it that I also have heard, right? So it's not my
this will come. You're starting to touch more into the deeper, sinister reasons why the children are taken, and yes, that is coming out by others worldwide. It has been out what is actually occurring with these, I call them satanic cults because of what they're doing with the children under the guise of child services. And I do say this openly and for the public record. And believe us, who's ever watching this, these are not unfounded allegations. All of the evidence worldwide supports this fully, and so much more. You are not even hearing the tip of the iceberg with what we're sharing and everything so far. If all of you knew the actual truth, perhaps some of you do, especially if you're a victim watching this, and what we say, step up, come to us, any victims of any of these heinous crimes, so that this is stopped. The more witnesses, the more testimony that we give to the public, it cannot be refuted even by the public. And this ends because it is very dark what is occurring. It is very evil.
I really want to add something for all the mothers, grandmothers, parents. My personal opinion, and it's sadly real, that, this society is very abusive. So it creates children that were easily abused or manipulated, right? They are preparing the children like that way. You don't have a voice, you cannot say no, you don't listen to your intuition, right? You have to go with stranger, you have to admit everything what someone above you is telling you, right? And I found a lot of mothers just stepping in and teaching their children, you know, about self-discernment, that they have rights and all those kind of things, right? And what happened was that they were always labeled as uncooperative, right? And not abiding, you know, the normal society, right? I also came across that I said to the health welfare, I can't do that. My children show signs of a change of behavior, which shows traumatic symptoms. And that moment you have to stop. But
And
they
this
start,
is
yes.
and this is where it came from, the school. So all of the schools in Austria, including the hospitals, are also part of this. And what Nya is touching on, what occurred at school with her children, uh, the the psychologist, child services, and also the alleged father were visiting the children unbeknownst to Nya. And the schools and the teachers are also complicit in this. And when children enter the schools, the children began, or the teachers began the conformity on the children to make them listen to certain things. But the danger is that they're making them listen to the child services and what have you. So the public schools in Austria, the teachers are all complicit in this to whatever degree as well, because they set the stage and they cooperate, which that means they become an accomplice to the crime of the child services. But also teachers will call the child services if they see a little reason with a child that they can might be able to, when the child services come in, then they can use the excuse if a child comes to school with a bruise on them that they might have did it themselves in normal play, but it opens up the avenue for the teacher to report to the child services, so the child services has an excuse to come in to take the children as well. So it's all perpetrated and orchestrated. And this is set up with the education system and the way the government of Austria works. The child care services is linked directly with the school system and also the hospitals.
Yes, I just want to share also with you because it just came into my mind. When I read the SOS Kinderdorf report in Moosburg, the children had similar symptoms. Like, you know, some of them started, you know, to pee in the bed, got shock or fear and were frightened, you know, like with my children. And there was a woman, she left and then she came again because she wants to visit the children. But what then happened was it was re-traumatizing the children. So they went into a shock and a freeze mode, right? The same thing that happened to Aurora as well, right? I just want to touch on this because, you know, as you can see, there are traumatic symptoms, what I have shown, which was shown to everyone, which everyone was trivializing and saying, no, it's not real, right? So, but also what you said, that everyone is involved, like school systems, hospitals. Yes, I fully agree, you know, but also if you're investigating a little bit, you can see that the persons who are working in these institutions, how do I say it? The guidelines and all the teachings were created by ones who did a lot of medical experiments or psychological experience on children in the past. So how to, from my perspective, but also, you know, from all the things that I have read, it is the best how to keep someone in control, right? without questioning things, just blindly obey and let everything happen, all the abusive things. So that is built that way. So that is my opinion. So, but also, what you have said with the hospital, I remember back then I had a midwife, and when I was given birth to my child, she said, because the child needs to purge, right? So it loses a lot of weight at the beginning. That's normal, right? And then it gets back, right? Because of the water inside what it is drinking, right? So it needs to clear out. But those kind of things were not said in hospital, right? So they come in and said, oh, the child has lost weight, which is a normal thing.
It's a normal, yes.
Child.
Every child, I believe, does that. It's the transfer, the release of the embiotic fluids also that is part of their nurturing, and they transition into the different food. It's a normal thing, yes.
Yes,
And
but
and
they
they use, yeah,
sadly, yes.
it's not ignorance that they use this, because again, with competence of actually caring for children, this is a common knowledge, if you will. So it shows intent where they exclude that common knowledge along with the maternal nurturing, which is the unconditional love. So they intentionally know, they sever all of that, because it's not about the child, the nurturing, the love, and the compassion. It's actually they want the children to do other things with that is very dark. One quick thing in the Netherlands, and it's been documented that the police, a few police in the Netherlands, actually listened to someone when they said children were taken to a place for satanic rituals and purposes. Let me just say this, it's been documented by the police. Yes, they went to this place they were told to go, and there was children and adults there. They did not catch them in any act. I believe it was just before the acts began, but they prevented it. And to my knowledge, these children were saved. But this is linked to what Sister Nya was saying, where they take some of these children out in the night to other ceremonial satanic practices.
Yes. I just want to get also back, why they take the babies away very soon, right after birth. There's also another topic connected with it, with the adoption itself, right? We have watched this as well. So the thing is, you have already mentioned it, with all the vaccinating stuff, people get sick, they get infertile, right? They can't have babies anymore. So the number of people who wants to adopt a child rises, but the list is very high. So what can you do? You can go there and say, I want to be a foster family, a parent, right? And then you can get a child through this much quicker. And then they come and take the child, and going to a mother, oh, you have 3 children, you are overwhelmed, we need to take your baby away, right? So I heard a lot of cases connected with that reasoning, right? You are overwhelmed, you cannot care for your baby, we need to take them away, right? So, but also I think you touched on this, I think you did some kind of researches, right? Where you found some kind of places which were connected with Euroadopt, which were originally created, for children that were given away from the parents, right? May you want to expand on this, how the numbers changed?
Well, instead of, let's say it's prevalent through antiquity, I forget the name of the organization we'll use
Euroadopt.
for an example. But
Oh,
it was a Thomas, it's a organization in the UK established, I think, in the 1750s or 30s. And with that, let's just say, I think it was 61% of the children administered to what was like a good orphanage that the government funded. But what occurred, about 61% were reported that they would die, these children. But what I need to say is that there was a lot more information of the reasons why that is not presented publicly. But this brings us right forth to today, and especially in the UK with, I think, last year, 2024, 83,000 children vanished in the UK. Now, these things are all connected, and with Euradopt, that agency, which Austria is part of, also Denmark, Netherlands, and the UK. I don't wish to go deep into that because, to our knowledge, there's journalists working on this to break this open as well. They've been given enough information, enough leads to get right to the points very quickly. And also, as part of our lawful process in public notices, we have also put the rest of the countries connected with Euradopt on public notice about what Austria has done, because Austria is also a member of that. And in the public Euradopt charter, they're not supposed to, if any serious crimes like what's coming up now in Austria, um, Austria cannot be a part of that. But also we have Sweden and Norway, I believe, but Sweden also crimes are coming up that Sweden is a part of Euradopt. So this whole Euradopt agency is also being destructed as we speak, and it'll be destructed through revealing the truth to the people, what was going on with this child trafficking worldwide as well. But what were you asking me? Yeah, I kind of.
Yes, yes. I may summarize it. I remember that you have said, those kind of organizations who were initially created to get children without parents or children that are not wanted, to take care of. They started to change, so they take other children as well. And when they did, the numbers start to explode, right? So I think I just put that up because I think there was something else popping up, in my way, also related to this, a same pattern with what you mentioned.
All right, I just perhaps that'll come up more later. My thoughts just went to where infertility is increasing worldwide, and also uterine cancer and breast cancer is increasing worldwide at an astronomical rate. And also the fertility rates of masculines is dropping to become also non-existent in some. As a result of this, there are less children being born. And I'll reference Russia right at this time. Anyone can go online, do your research, and you will see that Russia is in depopulation mode. Some of this that they will attribute to war and casualties of war. However, that is not the full picture. What I need to say, many in Russia are dying as well, but also in the statistics that are put out public, it will show that less children are being born in Russia too. And you'll see this worldwide if you had the accurate results, but the accurate results are coming out more and more. You can look at a recent study in Czechoslovakia, which speaks about the feminine attempting to become pregnant in the last 4 years or so, how 30, I think it's 31% of those have been trying, let's say, for 4 years and could not. And without saying what the core reason of that is, as we've all know, what what it is. And if you don't know, I suggest search some of these things. For the first time, the world is actually in depopulation mode. But I believe everyone watching this, if you had friends or families, you will know that some have, let's say, died unexpectedly and very quickly. So everyone worldwide, it's safe to say almost worldwide, or at least in the Western countries, has a family member or at least someone they knew or a friend, even young ones that have just died very quickly, even teenagers, healthy teenagers just died. Uh, but the importance why we're bringing this up, where there's less children being born in this world, the existing children that are here, especially the healthy children, the price tags on their heads with child traffickers go sky high. And that's another reason why every child worldwide is in imminent danger, not only in Austria, but worldwide because of this. There are less and less children that are being born overall. You might have some isolated areas where the birth rate has gone up, but also when you look at birth rates, just children being born, you also got to look at, and let's take Israel for example. You got to look when a child is born, it's recorded as a birth rate, but you need to see that children are dying very quickly as well. So meaning that it's a maybe an illusion where you see children being born, but what I need to say, the mortality rates are rising as well. So all of this, your children worldwide are in danger, and all of you worldwide need to stand up now, and we need to eradicate the psychopathic behavior. And it's obvious that the governments are funding these institutions. It's big money in it. It's more money in it than what you can see by the public records, but by the accessible public records, that is a big enough indicator to show that this is a business and that the government incentivizes it with huge amounts of money. And it's like this worldwide. So you need to know what is going on actually with this.
Oh, I just also want to add something, for everyone's awareness, because also the incident in, I think I don't know if it's South or North Korea, where children were given for adoption, into other countries, right? And they said, like, the children were given by their mothers, they couldn't take care of it. But the real truth was there were children taken without their consent as well, and given out to adoption. So as you can see, this happens quite often, that in the media or, somewhere else you're reading, oh, the children, there were always a consent there, but it is not true. Also the same in Austria as well. The children were taken by mothers without their consent. They are still fighting for it, but they are already out for adoption, right? Without given any remedy. Because normally, at the moment a child has been taken, it should be prepared to be returned and not prepared for adoption or into another foster family. So just to get a touch on
Well,
this.
yeah. Well, this establishes the actual intent. So when they take a children, yes, their intent is to separate the child no matter what. That's why they have foster families and what have you set up. And it's what you're saying. There is no remedy because their intent is not to remedy. Their intent is to take the children in that process and everything else that's involved in it. So
Yeah,
their intent is not genuine, it's the opposite. And you can see it very clearly with this. They have they are motivated, they have a motive, and they have a plan already in place. So it is intentional, it's premeditated, meaning it's already pre-scripted and pre-organized what they're going to do. And because it's not, again, about what is in the best interest of the child or the mother, it's actually something
The opposite.
opposite and more sinister because there are more things involved in this. Exactly.
Yes, it's also, it also shows this global systemic pattern. But also, I have to also say, I'm also referring, to my own case, where you can also see, and I have evidence that they never intended to give me the children back, right? They have already communicated, with the ex, planning to give the children to the ex
Well, they
before.
were in collusion, yes.
Yes, completely.
Yeah,
So no
yeah.
matter
And
what
you
you're
have the
doing,
evidence of that.
so
Mhm.
that is the thing that is exhausting all the parents, grandparents, and mothers. They keep on hoping, doing everything they want them to do, but it's just an illusion because they don't prepare the children to get back. If they would prepare the children to get back, they wouldn't start, with a 1 hour visiting times, re-traumatizing the child and the parents, and again and again. And what happens afterwards is that the children hates the parents afterwards and don't want to have anything to do with the parents anymore, right?
This
Because
is the psychopathic psychological programming and conditioning that
yes,
proves the intent as well.
and
Well, at
very,
this
very
point, so, we've discussed a lot here. Um, and at this point, I believe it's important that we speak about you've tried all venues within the legal system of Austria to get assistance. Everything was ignored and denied with your incontestable case. So, what we then did, we said, all right, here's the full case, the full dossier that you prepared with evidence and showing beyond a reason of a doubt how you were a victim of grave injustices, your rights fully violated. So we have already did the case and documented everything. So then we give this in an email to the Constitutional Court of Austria, the Administrative Court of Austria, and the Supreme Judicial Court of Austria. These are the three highest courts that are responsible for the judicial system. So, having said that, we got two replies back, and may you begin. What was the reply from the Constitutional Court, and then what action did we do with a public notice?
I cannot fully recall the exact wording, but I have to say again, it's some kind of typical pattern. We are not responsible for it. We cannot give you any advice, or you have to submit it. Some kind of this. And we also figured out that the Constitutional Court, in fact, has no jurisdiction. Meaning like, a constitutional court should, should assist that the human rights are being respected, right? And also abided, in a country, right? That is the function also on it.
Well,
But,
that's what it tells the people, but this is
yes,
the lie that you've just uncovered, and we got the evidence, the documentation of that.
yes. What I want also to go into it, because, I came then across that people started to, go back to me and started to, to attack me. What are you doing? That doesn't make any sense, right? They said, like, you have to submit it that way. And I said, well, if they would, just imagine you're standing outside, someone get hit, and you're standing beside it. And you are saying, it's not in my area, I cannot help, and you just leave. That doesn't make any sense, right? So the thing is, people are so indoctrinated It has always to go by the rules. There's some, like some authority. But the truth is, I also saw a lot of ones submitting cases to the constitutional case. It doesn't make any difference at all. But also, furthermore, I'm asking them about a full international legal dossier with all evidence, incontestable evidence and proof to give me their opinion. Normally they have to step in, right, as such a stater, for this Republic of Austria, right? But nevertheless, as I said, everyone just step out and saying, it's not my area, or you have to do this or that, right?
Yeah, and what it shows is that the Constitutional Court, it's defunct. It doesn't exist because it has no jurisdiction, and it has said this. But the Constitutional Court is to uphold the rights. But where it doesn't exist and it doesn't have any power, this is why all of your rights in Austria and worldwide are being violated and diminished, because the Constitutional Court is a facade. It is a fraud. It is a misrepresentation just given to the people as an illusion, thinking they have rights. So with this, the reply back from the Constitutional Court is the admission of their guilt, that they do not have any jurisdiction. And by doing so, it shows that they are admitting that they are defunct and they are null and void without any jurisdiction. And also to the next one with the administrative court, that is to oversee the legal processes and justice, and to ensure that there is a proper process and that the laws are followed in the legal process. So with this, Cisternia also presented them with the incontestable case for their evaluation. And what they have sent back, we just put out those public notices today, or public notice and emails, is they're saying they have no jurisdiction. And this is also very important, because if there's no oversight committee of the actual judicial system, and when the judicial system itself has criminals in it, there is no enforcement of it. This is why you're seeing the criminals in the system, ones that are pedophiles, being reshuffled, never any justice done, immunity, impunity, because there is no legal process to ensure justice the uh, when the government levels themselves are corrupt. Now, all hope is not lost, because in this case, it has always been, when a government is tyrannical, barbaric, and even psychopathic, in this case, the power defaults, resorts, goes to the people, and it becomes the people's responsibility to ensure that the government is held accountable and even replaced. The people need to understand, even in Austria, you have a voting process. So with your vote, when you vote for a politician, for government, you are actually having, you're voting for a representative of you. So when that representative acts criminal, it becomes your responsibility and moral obligation to the society to ensure these criminals are removed. Now, when there is no legal avenue, because the entire legal system is corrupt, it becomes the moral obligation and responsibility of the people to remove that whole governing body or what have you. Now, this is in the resort of dictatorships and tyrannical situations, but this is where Austria currently is, which means that the government, all levels, is complicit in this very serious crime and cover up. And what this means, the government is folding. It cannot withstand this lawful pressure that not only we are putting upon them, but the people are growing as well and stepping up and knowing that this is not right. You might be have a perfect family that is watching this, but again, you have a moral obligation to stand up and stop this right away. Many children are being harmed, and let us say also 20,000 plus unaccounted for refugee children between 2020 and 24, I believe, have disappeared in Austria. This is very serious, what I need to say. And again, with this, we are the universal nation of GPMS.world, as I said earlier, and universal nation of GPMS.world is your replacement system, which brings in the higher consciousness compatible administrative committee to oversee every region in the world. And it's comprised of competent, higher consciousness, moral individuals that does this. And this is part of the process, what you're witnessing now as the government of Austria is a micro example, but it's imploding because it cannot, it is lies, it is non-truth, it is not law, and it cannot stand, it cannot remain in a situation where it does not comply with the law and ignore it as it's doing in Sister Nya's case, but also there's more cases springing up as well. So the system folds upon itself.
Yes, I just want to add a short bit. The Administrative Supreme Court is also, for those watching in Austria, responsible for all the authorities above, right? Like for all the departments, right? So they need to step in. My international legal dossier touches everything, almost everything, right? So what I also want to say, especially in Austria, they would say, in case of some unlawful things happening, you need to go to every place, right? And to get help. But the thing is, a lot of mothers already have done it. So normally they have to give you a remedy for your situation. So if not, there is, like in this case, when you go to all the places, also by their system, you can go into your God's sovereign rights, right? So what we also figured out, and what we are also currently preparing and hopefully finishing soon, is a specific package with invoices and templates. So you can also follow the steps, which is very important that you will follow the steps step by step. So no loopholes are open. And it will also help you, to place all those kind of things and to get remedy for yourself, right? Which is not provided, by those who, or by the system itself. Yes, so what do I also want to say? So for everyone who is not already following our website, we will later share a link of it. We put up all public actions, so all public notices, statements, everything what we already have done, from the beginning until now onto the website. So you can follow all our insights, our conclusion. Also more information about for you to know, because I mean, also, like in my case, Austria has broke their contract with without providing any remedy, and also doing a lot of unlawful things, which is violating my human rights, my divine rights as well. So, oh, Rick is not back, so let me see if I have something else on my list. Oh, we also had recently a public notice about informing the World Bank, EMF, and all those kind of things. And someone came into my field and asked me, it didn't make sense for him at all. It's nonsense. So the thing is, if a lien is placed allegedly, lawfully, and publicly, like in this case on the Republic of Austria, they need to make it public and also to inform, all others they are connected to, and also all other shareholders in this case. So if they are not doing this, this is also a break of, they are also breaking laws with it. So what we did was, to inform them. So we informed several ones, at the World Bank, EMF, and other areas. So it includes also China, Russia, America, and also other countries. So if you want to know more about this, it is also on our website as well. So what I also want to add a short little bit, because Rick touched on it about the rituals on children. So I just want to add this. There's something going on right now. There are investigative journalists working on this, and other groups and people as well. There's also a recent new article came out, from the ICG. So this is an investigative journalist office who brought up a recent story about a Catholic clerk. I'm not quite sure, someone from the church who is related, I think, in South America, right? So I'm just saying that there are more to come. Why I always touching on this, so I don't go into detail. So for everyone who wants to know more, needs to dive into it. But I also want to explain, because most of the people don't know this. So when you're looking especially on Austria, so Austria, when you're looking on the high ranks, right? So in Austria, the highest rank is the president of Austria, and the second rank is the cardinal of Austria. And this is the church, right? And the president of Austria doesn't have anything to say here in Austria at all. So I'm just sharing, from the ranking itself, so everyone would understand. All right, Rick. I think I've made my list in the well.
All right, well, that's great. You got your list gone through. I didn't hear all you were saying. However, that's excellent. Um, so perhaps I'll just go with a couple things I got on the list here then to get it out of the way.
Yes, perfect.
No, to get it in the way, because it is the way. I'll change my words with this.
I just want to add two things. I just touched a little bit, about the public notice with the shareholders and the bank, what we have noticed. Because, if someone has placed the lien onto you, you need to make it public and to form the shareholders, right? If you don't do that, that this is also a criminal act, right? So I shared
Oh,
that.
it is by the government. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. They did not disclose this themselves. We have informed the public and worldwide, but they did not. And as we said, these are lawful liens and invoices that the prosecutor already during the process of vindicating Nya when they tried to um, make it look like what she was doing was illegal. The prosecutor come back in Nya's favor and said, no, it's not. And we are grateful for this prosecutor because whoever it is, they knew the law, and that's important. Yes.
But you know, we also need to say that you know, we did a lot during the whole time, right? I have to share, you know,
Well, they
we
can't
have
wiggle out of anything. Yes,
yes,
there is
yes,
no
yes, but
loopholes. Everything is
yes, but
solid.
you know, we
Yes.
have to say we are very transparent in everything what we are doing. Meaning, like, you know, everything what we are doing, everything we are putting out, all those involves know about it, right? We said to
Yeah.
them from the beginning until now, internal and external investigations are running. Everything is made public, you know, on a continuous base, right? Everyone is always included into all the email lists as well. And you know, I also have filed, you know, prosecutor, I have submitted there also some kind of stuff as well, so she knows a lot about other things as well, right? So the good thing is, you know, like in my case, because a lot of parents and grandparents and others have fear, I really want to go into this, you know, because the most, you know, every time when you are stepping into your God sovereign rights, right, they got fear because of the whole tagging and labeling they put onto you, right? And yes, it happens for I as well. When I sent out those invoices, they filed a lawsuit about anti-movement, but they had to, you know, they had to reject it because there was no.
Now this is important. Who filed the lawsuit? Name that one. Or it wasn't a lawsuit, it was an investigation.
Yes, it
Yes, so
was
to the
report.
best of our knowledge, who actually launched this? Was it the director or something of Corinthia? Who was it, and what does he do?
He's the from my knowing, it is or what I have received, it is the district leader of
Oh,
Spital, Markus Lech. And he's connected with the leader of the youth welfare. You know, they are also in the same political party as well, in the Red Party. And the same goes with the governor of Carinthia. They are all in the Red Party. But also, you know,
so then what they did is to launch a criminal investigation against you. And when they did this, they put in that you sent this guy an invoice. So he put that in to, uh, as part of saying you were criminal. But what happened is that the prosecutor said, no, the invoice, all of this, there is no case that Nya is not criminal. There is no case, meaning that it's lawful, these invoices. But it was the director of there that is connected to the child services directly. So then what they tried to do, the child services there, in collusion also with the director, tried to launch an investigation to incriminate you, and it actually backfired on them because thank you, Father. We had a good prosecutor that actually knew the law and flipped it right back on them. But this is serious, yes.
but you know, I have to give a little bit more insights on this as well. So this
Mm-hmm.
district leader back then has confirmed the request from the youth welfare to file that I don't know the name, the specific name, but disorder of imminent child danger. So it was confirmed by the district of Spital. It needs to go there, right? And
Oh, yeah.
also, the last time when I want to get to a file inspection at the youth welfare place, I think it was in July, I think July or June. I'm not quite sure. Somewhere in this months, he already looked at me, you know, and he wanted to know about the invoices, and I said to him, the youth welfare leader, he said, "What? what it is about. And I said, it's everything described in the invoice, right? And he also said, the Aufwerfer leader also said, I received all your letters, right? And you know what? It doesn't make me uncomfortable. But I tell you what, there are people, they will not accept those things from you. I have 200 proclamations inside my I always forget the name.
And it's the email Q
Oh, no.
from
What is the name?
mailbox.
The cup, not the cupboard, a desk or something, like what is the name for it?
I'm not sure, you can use any name. It's good. Yeah,
Oh,
in his
just give me a
desk
second.
or
I don't use it
cupboard, in
often.
his cupboard or
Yes,
whatever.
cupboard. Yes, in his cupboard as well. But also stating there are already a lot of parents complaining at his place, right? And
200.
At this point, you have to think about it, right? But also, he started to humiliate me or insult me and all those kind of things. I was fine with it, because
And you have a
it had
witness
nothing
that
to do
can
with I.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you
Yes,
have a witness that saw this
yes,
occurring as well, and it's been documented.
yes.
Yeah.
So just to show that, so this is again a systemic pattern what you're seeing
Hmm.
here, because the same thing, I want to refer again on this
But
SOS.
well,
Yes,
it's a pattern, but it's intentional.
yes.
And that's why it's criminal, because there is the intent that is so obvious with it. So intent to harm. And it's, yeah, so the case is really proven because the intent is so obvious. But go ahead, please.
Yes, I just want to say, with that report at the SOS Kinderdorf in Moosburg, it was similar. There was a guy a whistleblower, who informed about those things happening there, right? And he's also in the same state as I. So what happened is they filed a report against him, right? And brought him, in front of the court. Good that nothing happened, but I'm just saying and referring, the same had happened with I as well, right? But because of also we are always staying neutral, we are not attacking anyone, we are not aggressive, we did all legal steps as well, everything is lawfully, nothing happened. They had to reject it, right? So because they also stated that with my invoices, it is some kind of, I'm stepping, into Hoheitsrechte, which means sovereign rights. But honestly, when you went to all places and none of them are giving you a remedy, you are, from their framework, from the systems framework, already also allow, I don't want to say allow, because you're normally in your God sovereign right, but you can go into your sovereign rights then to get remedy and to get justice. All right. So let me see. I actually don't have anything on my list right now. So we need to wait. I think Rick has more on the list. Oh, Rick, you can go on and with your list, because I don't have anything anymore.
Uh, oh yeah, we have lots more. Yeah, just what I had to do is I got a mouse in the house, but I caught him. And this is a live trap, so I had to go and release him. So I don't want to keep him in there because he'd be stressed, right? Um, so whew, having said that,
Oh, I will
I'll
step
read.
out short. Now it's
Yeah,
your turn.
I have no crystals left, or I would have set up a crystal frequency grid. Even my usual crystal I have, it's gone somewhere, but it'll be back. Yeah. But all right, let me have a look here. Just before you go, Sister Nya,
All right, I'm
yeah,
back. Heard you.
did you touch on the insurance about they didn't give any details? If
Oh
not,
no, I forgot that.
I'll do that. Thank you. Go have a break then if you wish.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So with this, early in attempting to get justice, what what we had done is we asked all involved, um, once it became clear that it was incontestable, that laws were being broken and a crime was being committed, that it was in progress, and that began the moment that they took the children from Sister Nya. But with this, in the beginning, we notified them first with cease and desist orders to stop immediately. This is unlawful, taking the children. They did not comply with that. They ignored it. So then, very quickly, we sent out asking them for insurance details. And in the legal system in Austria itself, but mostly worldwide, in any pending lawsuit of liability, and let's say if you have a car accident, the first thing it is by law that one, if they're in fault, they got to show, or even if they're involved, they got to show their insurance, their liability insurance details. So with this, early in the case, we asked all of the individuals that were involved for their insurance details. None replied, and by law, they had to. So that is also a criminal act, also by all involved. But more importantly, what it shows us is that, which is factual right at this time, there has been no proof of insurance given by any of these, or by this child services center, or whatever they call it again, that have taken the children. To our knowledge, they don't have any liability insurance. So this is an actual danger to the children, but also apparently, with the director and Sister Nya just mentioned, and others involved, apparently they don't have any liability insurance. And what this means is that where they have not presented any proof, then we have every reason to believe they don't have it. And this is very serious because they cannot work if they do not have liability insurance, because there is no avenue for remedy if any injustices occur, which like occurred in this case. But also the um, the government of Austria at least has been informed that we have asked for insurance details. No response. Even though they opened their emails and know this, they did not provide these. Um, so this is, not only is that very significant, let's say if they do have insurance and broke the law and would not prove it to us, we have also notified the insurance agents, the civil servant and main ones of the Republic of Austria. Hey, do you cover these ones with insurance? No reply. But with that, we also give that they're uh, in unlawful acts. So what occurs, to keep this simple, is that an insurance company, once they're notified that someone is involved in unlawful activity. But in Sister Nya's case, where it's incontestable, the action by the insurance company is to revoke insurance. And if these ones involved in Nya's case that we have named, and we're naming more as we go forward, if they were insured, it was the duty of the insurance companies to revoke their insurance, that they should not even be working because they do not carry any liability insurance. However, to our knowledge, they are still all working. So there is a huge crime with this somewhere. And this is very significant. So either the insurance company of Austria, the civil insurance agents, has also put itself, has incriminated itself, or it's also part of this huge crime, and was already complicit. So just to touch on this without complicating it, I got this is the same in any country. If these ones do not have liability insurance, what it means is that they cannot be in a place of authority whatsoever, like in child services. So what we recommend, if you're just beginning your case, to get these emails out and ask for their insurance details, the ones that are responsible, and also notify the main insurer of the country, because these are civil servants, meaning that you can identify the insurance liability insurance company, because again, there has to be a remedy, there has to be a compensatory remedy, and that's what the insurance companies are there to legally and lawfully provide. But if they're not there and they're non-existent, as we're seeing so far in this case, this crime is immense in Austria.
May I add something small to it? Because, again, I need to refer, to SOS Kinderdorf as well, because those who were the perpetrators, and they were just dismissed from their job and working, in another place. So as you can see, if they would be stripped, from their liability and insurance, they cannot go on, with what they are doing as well.
Well, what we've asked, we went through the lawful legal
Yes.
procedure. We have
Yes.
asked them, no
Yes.
reply. And we've also put it to the main insurance company,
Yes.
no reply. They have opened the emails, they have received them, so they have seen them, and we have this documented. So in reality, as a result of this, the what do you call it? The Kinder
Dorf.
or yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, they're operating illegally. They don't have any insurance. So this is very important.
Yes, I also want to add again, I'm still working on this package, which includes, several templates, also letters, where you are requesting, all liability and all contracts and what have you, So it also serves, as some kind of guideline, and it's very extensive because I'm collecting everything, into one package, what we have done over the months, which is very great, without any loopholes for everyone to follow. And I also want to add at this point that more and more parents are coming in requesting this package, not only Austria, but also different countries, and also stepping up. But also, I want to add something also very great, or something very great, is that Rick had shared with I that there's also a different kind of group, I don't know, in US or UK also, starting, with liens, right? But just to add this, because I don't have more to it right now.
Yes, just to add to that without identifying anyone yet, they have used the liens in the past, and um, uh, because the system itself, any country worldwide knows they are lawful and knows the power of them. You have not seen it publicly, for the very reasons that once the system is subjugated to these liens, instead of informing the people in integrity and transparency, look, they cover them up. But we are in the time where no longer liens are covered up, and that is one of the reasons why these liens we have placed against Austria and its insurers are public, because these serious, powerful instruments, it's what eradicates corruption worldwide, and it's part of this important process. So, um, with that, also I'll add is that uh, 10 or 20, I think it might have been 20, Sister Nya, in Austria, the law firms, 10 of the biggest law firms in Austria, or was it 20? I think you might have sent another list to 10 more, or was it 10? It was 10 at least.
It was at least 10. It could be 13. But let us say, it was the 10 top lawyer companies who have also different kind of locations worldwide as well. So it's an international
International law
law
firms, yeah,
company.
with connections. So what we did with this is we informed also these 10 or 13 law firms of this lawful procedure that we are taking forward, with liens and invoices, and also at the same time showing the complicity of the Republic of Austria and the governments, because this is directly connected to what the law firms and lawyers do in Austria, meaning that also for any law firm to accreditate itself, to retain its credibility, it has to recognize this higher law because it's already been accepted publicly into the legal system through the prosecutor as well, that vindicated Nya, and also during that process legalized the liens and the invoices. So the Austria lawyers and in other countries as well has been informed. Now, what is occurring worldwide, people, with this is you're seeing a reform, a lawful reform worldwide, because what we're doing is bringing in the divine law for the new world, and all of these legal systems that were able to be manipulated and used for all of these crimes, that's all crumbling. It's not going to exist in the very near future. It's all gone. And the incentives for crime worldwide, no matter what type of crime it is, will be non-existent. Um, so the lawyers have been informed. Not only the lawyers, the churches. I gotta put on my specs here again. And the Vatican has been informed, I think maybe more than once, because we've sent a couple or several letters, yes, to the Vatican to say, all right, if you are what you say you are, and especially in their agreement with Austria, part of that is to protect the children and the families. And this is part of that chartered agreement between the Vatican and Austria. So, what this means, if the children and the families are in harm or at considerable risk, like they are now, this is the most unprecedented, highest level of risk for any child in Austria and the parents. It is the moral obligation of the church, which is written in this charter, in this legal, lawful document, that they must come in. And we have seen nothing from them. And when you see nothing, when they are lawfully, legally, and morally obligated, then it usually indicates that they could be also or are complicit in this overall crime. Now, this is a serious statement that I'm making here. And I, for one, surely hope that we see the churches arriving here to support the families and the people, not only the Vatican, if they wish to, but the other churches, the other denominations of the Church of Christ. For it's written in there that you are to stand when you see these unrighteous things occurring. You're not to turn the blind eye and allow for this harm to go. And it is written in your doctrines and in your code, your divine code of conduct. And if you are truly a messenger of God or a word of God, a messenger of that, you must stand up. All of the congregations, all of the clergy of the churches must stand up here. And they have been called. We have sent not only to the Vatican worldwide, we have sent, I believe, at least 10 different emails out to different denominations, to different countries with different churches, the Christian church, different denominations. I just don't recall which particular ones, but let's say we sent it out, a call to action for them to stand up. But what is interesting, no reply from them as well. And this is very important because then the church becomes complicit in the crime, where they allow it to occur and do not stand up and do what is right. They become an accomplice to the crime through condoning it, allowing it to happen in front of their eyes. And this is not godlike. This is evil, allowing that to occur, and this is the truth of the matter. So we have been all inclusive. Pardon?
May I just add something? Because,
Yes.
from my experience, what I have seen, if you confront someone, with the truth, with the powerful truth, mostly they cannot say anything against it because it is the truth, and they went silent. Because mostly they would reply something like, oh, yes, we received this or that, but this is not true, all those kinds of things, but nothing. And this is something I'm seeing very quite often. If you confront someone with the divine truth or with your truth, right, they got silent because they cannot say anything against it. And yes, as you said, because this is very important, if you are involved into this and you let it happen, or if you know about it and you don't do anything about it, you are a part of it. You are complicit. Most of the people forget this.
Exactly. And when you look at the churches, they're to be peers and guides for humanity in morality and to do what is right. In the simplest form, the church will teach you to be a good person. But here they are allowing and not standing up against this. It's not being a good person. You're actually allowing harm to come to the children and the families. This is not what God told you to do, especially if you're a peer, if you're a pastor, you're a minister, if you're a cardinal or even a pope. If you are following the true word of God, you cannot sidestep this. You have that moral obligation and duty to God, and as being a supposed representative of God, to show the people to do the right thing. So no more of this complicit and complacent behavior.
I also touched a little bit onto it because most of the people don't know about, the hierarchy, in Austria, for example, right? that the cardinal in Austria is on the second position right after the president. I mean, the president in our state doesn't have anything to say, right? He's not involved into anything. So the highest position has the cardinal. So he is in a position to change and to step in and to change it, right? Just to clarify this for everyone, because some of those things, oh, why are you contacting the churches, right? So just to share that as well.
Yes, exactly. And they are beginning to be named now, as you see, that because of the non-action by the church, they are also contributing to allowing it to happen. They have not stood up yet, and if they're going to stand up, they have to stand up immediately. There is no more time nor reasoning for complacency. The worldwide existing children are in extreme, imminent danger as a result of everything that's been transpiring worldwide, and ignorance is no longer an excuse. The
Not
information is
not
out
only children,
there.
also parents and
And
grandparents.
absolutely, it's all really, yes. Um, and in any of your documents, Sister Nya has prepared a lien and invoice package and instructions on how to lawfully execute it in the proper ways. In the bottom of, if you are a, if you do believe in God, prime creator, at the bottom of all of your submissions, and Sister Nya perhaps included it right in the name of God, prime creator. Don't just put God. It's important to put prime creator because there's been some connotations and variations and manipulations of God, but we wish to put God, prime creator, or God of all good things to specify this, because this is also the truth. Um, so, invoice publications. Yeah. Should we bring up our website to let ones know where the lawful publications are? Do you want me to do that, or do you?
Just go ahead. I would add it anyway, to somewhere in the comments, or when I repost this live afterwards.
Oh, all
But
right.
also,
So then we can do it there. Yeah, I don't need to bring them up. Yeah.
it
So
is
we'll,
already also in the public notices and statements all the time. So
yes. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we have that. So where are we at then with your case, and how close are we to getting your children back and all of the children back worldwide? I'll answer part of that. We are very close, but we are not quite there yet. The thing that is holding it back for everyone is not all of the moms coming together, all of the parents as quick as soon as possible to create the big voice. We have everything starting, or no, more so coming together, but it's not quite big enough yet. So what we suggest and what we strongly encourage is for every parent and even every child, every victim of past abuse, come forward now and unite so we can eradicate these sinister bureaucracies disguised as child care when actually there's something much more sinister and much more evil. So we can eradicate this worldwide and return all of the children back to the rightful places with their parents. And again, and during the course of doing this, we have the full remedy. We have the new system that your children will never be taken from you again worldwide. But we need to do this in this way that we're doing it. It's happening very rapidly, despite what you might think. We are seeing the confirmations, the byproducts, with the ones resigning and different other things. We need to say this is very powerful. It is very real. This is no joke. It's no conspiracy. It's actual law. And it's actually been written this time when divine law would be entered upon earth. And let's say the promise of God, prime creator, would be delivered. And this is part of it. And this is what divine-gpms.world is as well. It's creating the universal nation where everyone's rights are upheld and respected, and everyone is in abundance, and there is no reason whatsoever for anyone to take anyone's children. The root cause of why the children are being taken is the capitalistic system worldwide of governments itself and the way they operate. So once you take that monetary incentive out of the equation, and each individual worldwide has their own intrinsic value activated in money, it becomes no reason for anyone to steal children or to attempt to steal from others, because there is no profit in it, because each individual receives their own money, and it's no reason to steal from another, to keep it as simple. And this is the new system that is coming in place. Let's say the evil ones are dealt with on a organic level, that we don't need to serve them direct punishment. What we're actually doing is we are forcing them to comply with the law. And if they do not comply with the law, well, they suffer at the expense of the majority of the people worldwide, which is more than 99% of the people. So it's very important to know that we do know absolutely and divinely what we are doing. And this is what we are doing is no regular movement. This is an unprecedented chain reaction to take ones in to what you always felt your existence in your world should have been like. And it's happening, and it's very real. Anything to add with that, sister?
Oh, just something funny, I just also want to let other mothers, especially in Austria, to know. I think 2 months ago, we were creating a appeal, and we sent it, to the court. Very powerful. We placed inside the lien, preparing, for other mothers to come in, and also with absolute and divine law, and it's still out there, right? So in the meantime, I saw a lot, coming back, telling me, they had a negative reply from the court. We are not waiting, what the court is replying. I want to make that clear. But I'm just saying, that they don't know what they can do right now, because it's very lawful, it's powerful, and it's still out there, right? So I just want to share that with others, and it's real.
Yeah, yeah, really, there's only two choices with this, for them to fully confess and apply remedy, or to attempt to hold out. But the longer they hold out, the worse it gets for all of them, and it begins to implicate many others, especially in the levels of government in Austria, all of the employees, and it extends out further. And this is the same as the child care centers. The employees that are still working there are supporting crime, but they become accomplices in it the longer this drags on. And everyone that is connected at supporting these crimes becomes an accomplice, and there is a certain justice that the individual will receive as well in one way or another, not from us. We do not intimidate and we are not violent, but let us say God is really real and our abstract forces, especially the wrath of God that does come in.
So, well,
Yeah, well, we're streaming to Facebook. I don't see any comments, but if there's any questions on Facebook, you can put them in there. See, we do have some viewers, and yeah, we've done so much, and we've got so much more to do. Well, I
yes.
like to say not so much more. We've done so much. We've got the great solid foundation, but the also educating more to stand up as well, and this is part of that unity.
Yes, so for everyone who wants to know more about the package or want to receive it, please contact I or Rick. I hope I will soonly be done with it because, you know, as Rick said, a lot of things are coming in here at the same time as well. So for anyone who watches this, you know, worldwide. So yes, so thank you so much for your
Oh,
attention, listening to it.
and also the public inquiries, we're still taking ones that wish to
Oh yes,
speak. Let me say it's a little bit prolonged yet because there is that fear element with ones was holding them back. I believe we have perhaps a few candidates to speak live on a public inquiry, but ideally we want some more. So we want more to step forward. So that's not quite prepared yet. Let me say at any moment we can go live with what we got and begin the public inquiries. And if that is the divine direction, we will do that as well. However, right now we're just told to wait for some more to come forward because of what's happening in Austria. It's raising more victims up and they're beginning to speak out, and it is a unity being formed there as well.
yes,
So we have the public inquiry that is still set up and hopefully if needed because things are happening so quick that let's say the government of Austria and many can just fall worldwide. And when you take France and when you take Nepal, worldwide there is huge civil unrest, and these governments cannot withstand the truth, like Sister Nya has said. No. So they have a choice to either comply and do what is right or continue to do what is wrong and suffer. And that is the reality of it. So, a public panel on this as well. We did not do our public panel yet. We've been busy and directed at doing other parts of the strategy. What we can say is we have at least several candidates that have been that has been interviewed, if you will, or that we know of that are already vetted that will stand on this panel as well. And I believe Bandy Lee we had on, I believe she is one too that would stand on this panel. I think she might have already confirmed it. Not sure, but I believe she did. Bandy also said if we have another interview,
Yes.
We can interview her again and she'll be back if we need to do these things. And I keep saying if we need to, because again, the crimes are incontestable and it cannot withstand this immense truth, and things are happening very quickly. So we have everything in place, but they're beautifully, we might not need to do some of these. And again, that depends on the ones coming together. The quicker they come together and do launch their lawful instruments, the quicker this gets done. And then we may be able to omit a lot of things. And the main goal is to get the children returned worldwide as soon as possible. But
And
again,
those institutions and organizations closed, right? And
yeah,
all
oh yeah,
those
shut down,
people's
yeah.
not operating anymore.
Well, absolutely, yes, yeah. And that's what we're doing. And as we're seeing right now, the kindergarten or whatever you call it there, that it's operating without insurance. That is a immense danger to any children being taken there. To our knowledge, they're operating without insurance because they did not provide insurance details.
Oh, the Crisis Intervention Center you mentioned. All right, yes.
Yeah. Mm. And the other participants, also some professionals were asked their private insurance that they broke the law. The psychological evaluator is a perfect example of that. However, she was also practicing in the court, so it's part of the civil liability that also would be responsible for her. The 16 prominent invoices are incredible liens that it's no way the individuals are going to be able to pay these. That means the insurance companies are going to have to pay this out. And again, the liens are immense at this time. Adding the 16 invoices together, they amount to over $16 trillion, which is huge, which means the insurance company, the civil servant insurance company of Austria is on the hook for this. But also, when you look at this huge number, it's more than likely the civil insurance company of Austria is bankrupt because it does not have this money to pay. And also with the escalation in influx of more liens upcoming, it's going to be staggering, and the civil insurance company of Austria cannot withstand this huge debt that is being placed upon them. And what this will mean also is that there will not be any insurance coverage for any of the police forces and military or anything that Austria has. Because again, if the insurance company miraculously keeps providing insurance and pays out these trillions of dollars, then it opens up the truth of where's all this money coming from. So if they're actually able to magically create this out of thin air, this also reveals another part of the story of the illusion that they were perpetrating upon humanity. Yeah, so anything else to add?
No, we didn't have the live for such a long while that we put in everything, I think. It's very long already. So, but it was very fluent and it was very informative. Is that a word in English? Yes.
Informative and
Informative,
you know,
yes, thank you. I
but
thought
again, we were, I feel we were just generic, like on the surface of this. We didn't go into deep
yes,
detail,
but
but
it took
we need to. So I see Christina, she watched it and yeah, says well done, amazing work, and hoping all of the children are returned. So yeah, indeed. So we keep going forward. That is the mission. It's enough for these satanic practices worldwide and these cults that are stealing children. It's all being exposed, and it cannot go forward. And you know that is the truth of it.
I touched on
Hopefully,
this as well.
pardon.
I also touched a little bit on this as well, that more will come to the surface. I mentioned also that I
Yes,
see very interesting, yes.
thank you. Yes, and it is. So with this, we'll end this one, and I guess that's it. Can you think of anything else? You got all your notes, points raced out? Mine's all raced out. Good. So with that, love, light, and gratitude, everyone watching. And despite what it looks like out there, you are in the most amazing, powerful times. And of course, none of this would be possible if not for God, Prime Creator. And God, Prime Creator, is omnipotent, invincible. And when you're aligned with God, Prime Creator, Mother, and Father, you are as well. And this is very real and very important because you're in unprecedented times. And this is the time that has been spoken about through antiquity in at least the last 2,000 years. So everyone is prepared. You just got to believe and pay attention and read the signs, and you will know that what was written long ago is very real. So with that, love, light, peace, and we'll get it
Not like
done very soon.
gratitude.
Love, light, and gratitude. Stopping this.